Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in this special audio interview recorded here at Anime Los Angeles 2022. And with me, our special guest of honor.
Hi, I'm Kira Buckland, the English voice of Jolene Kujo.
And I'm Casey Mongillo, the English voice of Shinji Ikari in Evangelion.
Hello, my name is Tiana Camacho, and I am the voice of Hermes Costello in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean.
Yeah.
So, Kira, let's begin with your role in Phantom Breaker and as Mei Orisaka.
Yeah, so it was really exciting. I'm just so excited for the game in general because I really like fighting games. That's my favorite genre of video game. I used to try to play competitively. You know, I'm not very good, so I haven't done it in a while. But, voice acting in fighting games is like one of my favorite things to do in this career, and I've been fortunate enough to be in like 5 or 6 of them at this point. So when I got cast, it was interesting because I auditioned for all of the female characters, but when I saw Mei, I was like, that's the one I want the most because she's got like pink hair and like kind of like magical girl aesthetic and stuff. So I was like, it's one of those things where it's like you audition for a bunch of characters and you're like, I'll be happy to get anybody, but I really want to book this one, and that was Mei for me. So I was so happy when I found out I was playing her.
Switching over to Casey, undoubtedly I will be asking you about Shinji.
Okay.
So tell me, how was it playing that character?
A little terrifying, really exciting, and pretty rewarding. It's a huge honor to voice such a character that's iconic, part of such an iconic piece of Japanese animation. It's such a huge deal, and to have been chosen for that role by the team in Japan is pretty bizarre too. It's a huge honor.
So when you say you were chosen by Japan, what do you mean?
So I think it was either the creator of Eva or it was his right-hand man that had made the final call on some of the top, the main characters. So knowing that, at first I was like, I don't want to do this role. This is too much. I don't think I could do this, which is very in character now that I look back on it. and when I was told, like, well, you were picked by, in Japan, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I can't say no to that. I guess I have to do it, I was very worried. I didn't know much about it.
But you're the same person, so it's basically like you're playing yourself, which makes it perfect.
Some say that you do look like Shinji.
A little bit, yeah. People have told me. Yeah, it was very nerve-wracking several months, doing it, but very rewarding in the end because a lot of Ava fans had watched it and told me how much it meant to them. My performance as Shinji, that made me feel like I made the right call doing the job because I was very hesitant and I kind of tried to not do it. I was like, for the callback, I'm like, I'm not gonna do this, but thanks for having me. And they're just like, okay, well, just sit in the booth and we'll just do a couple takes, so and just see how it feels. Whoops, I got the part. But yeah.
So were you familiar with Spike Spencer prior to working on Eva?
I did not know Spike beforehand. I didn't know anything about Ava beforehand. I didn't even know what the project was I was auditioning for until I got a callback. I didn't even know this was a new dub of something that had existed. I thought I figured it out and I thought it might have been a spin-off or something like that, but it was not. So it was a little strange because no one wants to step on anyone else's toes. No one wants to disrupt a legacy, if you will. Something huge like Ava, people have been watching it, people, longer than I've been alive have been watching this stuff, and the ADV dub is very important to a lot of people. That's what they grew up with. That's what they've been watching for 10, 15 plus years. And they hold that cast very near and dear to them. And that's totally understandable and makes sense. Spike and I ended up meeting and we got along and we were chatting about all this stuff. And it was kind of funny, like looking back on it, like talking about our experiences and how they differ voicing Shinji, because he's a very funny, outgoing personality kind of guy, and I'm the opposite. So voicing the character for both of us, we were talking about that and how it was just different ways, two very different people voicing the same character. It was just very interesting stuff. So it wasn't so much that I took over or anything like that. This was just a different dub by a different company that was, putting it out, which it happens a lot. But in this case, this was just one of those things that is like, well, this thing exists. I have no idea why they decided to make a new dub, but they did. And, we were chosen, we did our jobs. And I believe that Spike Spencer and the ADV cast, or at least a lot of the original cast, came back to do the movie that just had come out like last October or something like that.
Right, yeah. All right, Tiana, your turn. Tell us about your roles in Pokemon.
Well, I voice B, who is a gym leader from the Galar region in Pokemon Journeys. She's very much one of those characters that's very stoic. And when I got the audition, I approached it as someone who was guarded, because she's a very loving person. She's very much in tune with her Pokemon. She's very friendly, but you wouldn't get that first impression from her upon meeting her. So it was very much like, I have to be guarded, and if I trust you enough, I can peel back some layers. So I kind of worked inside and then added the layers to it and then peeled them off one at a time. Especially for where, she was just having sweets, And she's very much like me, I think. She likes to stuff her face a lot. Stuff her face a lot and intimidate people, And it was my first big, anime role, too. So it was like, I was entrusted with something really, really important, really, really big. I based my performance on B by listening to what the original performer did in Japanese. So my take was to not stray from the Japanese and make sure I was on that as much as possible. And that was what I was trying to do when I approached the character.
Would you say the same thing goes in for Nessa?
Yeah, I feel like with Nessa it's a little bit different. With Nessa, she's just someone who doesn't let things bother her very easily, which I think is a little bit different from being guarded. Being guarded is like, I can't let people see them unless I allow them to see it. For her, she's just very chill. She's very go with the flow. She's very kind of like the ocean. It looks calm most of the time, but you have your high tides and your low tides, but it's pretty much the same every day.
Circling back to Kira, let's talk about your role in Demon Slayer.
So she is only in a couple episodes, sadly, but she's just so fun and cute, and I love even just like her color scheme, because she's got the watermelon colors going on, like the pink and green, and it's just like, it's so interesting because, a lot of the characters in a series like that have very different personalities than she does, and I feel like she's so like light and bubbly and cute, but at the same time you don't want to mess with her, so I just really... I had a lot of fun with her, and I wish I got to explore a little bit more, and hopefully in the future there'll be more to come with her.
Turning the page over to Yashahime. Let's talk about your role there, because I think Yashahime is an important role because, Inuyasha, that's been going on for as long as probably Evangelion, right? Sort of that same spectrum. Tell us more about your role there.
I play Setsuna, one of the twin daughters of Sesshomaru, and the series follows her as well as her twin sister Toa and Inuyasha and Kagome's daughter Moroha. And I was really excited when I got cast in that, because Inuyasha was something that was very instrumental to me as a performer, because I actually wanted to be, this is kind of like something that, everyone says like, oh, you got to start with like theater and do this. And that wasn't my path personally. I knew I wanted to do voice. I knew I wanted to be in anime and stuff. But, the main thing is, of course, you got to get your acting foundations right. But one of the things that was really influential to me when I first decided I wanted to be a performer was the original Inuyasha dub that was recorded up in Canada. And I was just really influenced by that. And I feel like it shaped a lot of kind of my path and how I decided to go into the anime field in specific. So I was really excited to be a part of it.
Tiana, let's talk about your role in Yashahime.
Yeah, so I voice Yawaragi, who is the mentor and caretaker of Inuyasha's daughter Moroha. This was another case of stoic female character with layers, and she has a lot of layers. she is entrusted to take care of Morha, but she's really not that good of a caretaker. She does a lot of things that are kind of antithetical to being a good parent and being a parent figure, but it's all just to test her skills. So it's one of those things where it's like she will act initially like everything she's doing is against Morha's best interest, but then you figure out later, oh, this was for that reason. So she's one of those characters that's like very tough love, emphasis on the tough more than the love. I remember recording some more scenes that were a little bit more on the vulnerable side with her, and it was really nice to have those layers brought out for that character as well. You know, I love it when I get to peel back the layers on something. It's like an onion, man. Anime rolls, it's like an onion, it has layers.
Layers, donkey, layers.
Donkey. Yeah.
Thus far, what has been like your biggest role, your dream role thus far?
I think that one's
know.
obvious to anyone
Yeah.
who knows me, but Jolene Cujo.
Shinji and Eva is probably my biggest, but something I was very excited about was I voiced the protagonist in Shin Megami Tensei 5, which I've always wanted to voice like a protagonist in like a game like that. I was called in. I didn't know what I was working on because I wasn't told, and they didn't tell me the role. And I'm like, Sega requested you for a thing. Okay, cool. Let's see what this is. I go in. And my session is only like an hour long. I'm like, oh, I must be going in for incidentals, like additional voices and something. And I met up with the engineer, was the same engineer, Jonathan, that I worked with on Eva. And so we had a quick little reunion, how you been, and stuff like that. And he goes, so what are we doing today? He goes, working on a game called Shin Megami Tensei 5. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's pretty big. So am I just doing additional characters? And he's like, oh no, you're voicing the protagonist, so stand here, we're gonna get you mic'd. I'm just like, what? On God? Just like that? It's just like, whoa, okay. So, that was immediately just like kind of like a weird dream realized, like, oh my God, I'm doing the thing I always wanted to do, and I had no warning. It was just like, okay, now go. And we just did, one take. It was great. Another line, it's great. We just blew through it in an hour on my dialogue, and it was like, I left the studio just thinking, what the heck just happened?
Tiana?
Well, going back to the whole stoic character with layers thing, I feel like my role in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean as the English voice of Erez Costello is like a total subversion of that. Because she just says everything she feels. So it's not one of those things where it's like, I have to hide not at all. She's very much in your face. She'll just say what she feels, but she's a nice person for the most part, As long as you don't mess with her, as long as you're not
McQueen.
deliberately hurting her and using her empathy against her, or as long as you're not like starting things with her, she's generally friendly. And I think that's really cool because, we kind of have this idea that to be strong is to hide ourselves. But she is strong and she doesn't really do that. She says what she feels. She offers advice to new people coming in. She offers advice to Jolene. She's generally pretty likable. You can't mess with her, but she's very much, she's kind, but she's not nice. I kind of just got to be myself a lot. And I have a fun story for you. So we did a cast screening of JoJo with all the members of the cast just to watch it and celebrate it being released. And Aiden Rudd, who did a couple of bit parts, he and I are very good friends. And he was sitting in the back with his girlfriend. We're watching the show on Netflix. Everyone's there. Matt's there. Ben's there. And he won't stop laughing every time she says something. And I'm just like, after a while, it was just like he was just laughing every time she opened her damn mouth. I turn around, I'm like, Aiden, what's so fucking funny? Like, what happened? Like, are you okay? And he's just like, I'll never forget this. This made me feel very accomplished. He said to me, It's that you're pretending to be a character. You're not acting. It's just you. And I was like, I really wanted to tell him to STFU, but at the same time, I thought about it for like 2 seconds, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, that tracks. Like, so that was great. I will never forget that moment where I can just live as the character, not have to think about all this character work, just do it. And I feel like Hermes is probably the first role where it's just like, you know what? I'm just doing what I feel like. And they let me get away with it, which is why she doesn't sound bad, I guess.
Now, before we go, can you guys deliver a line from your most popular character, beginning with Kira?
Well, let's see. Because in Japanese, the famous line is yara yara dawa. We usually say, "Give me a freaking break."
Now, the question is, do I do the one people like from Shin Megami Tensei 5, or do I just say, "Don't run away"?
Shin Megami Tensei one is fun because I get chills whenever I hear that in the game.
Yeah, but it's kind of loud. I don't want to scare the people here.
You should just scare everyone here.
Yeah, you should.
Should I just scare everybody?
Yeah.
One of the moves in Shin Megami Tensei 5 is called Aramasa, and it's really cool. And the character will just get in stance and shout, "Aramasa!" And then just jump on the enemy and chop him up like 8 times, and then do a flip, and then land like really cool in front of the enemy, and then the enemy just gets blown away as the character's not even looking, because cool people don't look at explosions.
Right, yeah. They
Yeah.
just walk away from them.
Exactly. And we'll go for a twofer for the Eva fans. Don't run away. Don't run away. Don't run away. Don't run away.
Oh, man. That's intense.
Yeah.
Hermes says a lot of really crazy stuff. I don't know. It's hard for me because there's some stuff that I've said that is stuck out to me. Especially in the scene where she's discovering her stand and she's just repeating out loud random facts to herself.
Oh, yeah.
Because I saw that and I was just like, this is me 24/7. I just like talk out loud to remember things because I operate on 2 brain cells and I can't function, and it helps me remember. So the whole scene where she's just like really intense, she's got like the whole temple thing. She's like, 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And then she's just like thinking about like Bugs Bunny's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
That was
just
so
like-
funny.
I was like, why? I love that. That would be me in prison. I know a bunch of useless ass trivia. There we go. That's me. That's me as a character.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having
Thanks
us.
so much for having
Thank you
us.
so much. This was lovely.
Thank you everyone for listening to this awesome audio interview recorded here at Anime Los Angeles 2022. I'll leave you guys with these awesome videos and interviews I know you'll love. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always you guys, I appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys next time.